Roland just dropped another feature-filled firmware update for the SP404 Mark II, aptly named Update 4.04. There are tons of features in this update. I'm going to tell you about just 2 today that have to do with looping, because that's a big way that I like to make music, and it makes sampling on the SP404 Mark II way easier, especially if you're playing with some external instruments. Now, if you're curious about this gear here, the Launchkey is controlling the SEQTRAK, and I just dropped a whole video about that you can go watch. And also, if you need a way to carry all of your gear, like put all this gear into a bag, Analog Cases is sponsoring the video today, and they just sent me their new track pack. Stay tuned to see just how much gear we can fit in this backpack. All right, simple new feature that makes creating even loops a lot easier. Now, when we sample or resample, we can select a set number of measures to resample. So we can record, say, an even 4 bars. You can set this anywhere from 1 to 32 bars. So I'm going to select the pad I'm going to sample on. Let's select the pattern I want to play along with. And then as I start to play some sound, recording will kick in. 2, ready, go. Recording completes automatically after an even 4 bars. And here, now we have a perfect loop. This is perfect for me because I'm constantly sampling like an external instrument into the SP404 Mark II, hence the setup. So even if I want to record a melody, a chord progression, I usually want that to be an even 4 or 8 bars. And previously, you had to go into the sample and trim it. You could never get that perfect length. But since I've been working with more and more standalone gear, I have needed a way to pack it all up and travel with it for when I'm on the go. So let me show you the new track pack by Analog Cases, the sponsor for today's video. All right, I promise not to take up too much of your time here, but I know you'll be impressed when you see how much gear can actually fit in this backpack. A good backpack has lots of different sections, so you can find exactly where you put something. And this backpack has a ton of sections, a whole nother pocket I didn't expect to see, but you can just see how much gear I'm able to fit in this backpack. It's kind of absurd actually, so I just kind of kept stacking gear into it and I still had space left over. It's a super comfortable bag even though I just put a ton of gear in it. Check out the link in the description if you want to find out more, but now let's get back to the video. All right, the next feature I want to show you is a similar concept, but really interesting and brand new to the 404 Mark II. It's a feature they actually took from the SP555. It's called loop capture. To access loop capture, hold Shift and press the value knob. This is going to change you from being in skip back mode to being in looper mode. So we're not able to access skip back and looper at the same time, but now hitting the mark button enters into the looper. Right away, you can see that we're able to record from free time up to 16 seconds, 1, 2, or 4 bars. We can auto trigger, which means it'll wait for a signal from the music to start recording, and we can change our BPM. If we hold Shift, we can change our effects routing from dry, bus 1, bus 2, or just looper. We can also change the routing to be external in or mix. But let me show you actually how this works in the first place. Press record. Now we're on auto trigger mode, so it hasn't recorded yet. Let's record that keys sound again. And once we play sound, it'll start recording. 2, 3, 4. Now we've got a loop going, but instead of it going right into like with the resampling process, instead of it going right to a pad and committing, we have this loop that we can play with now. So the first thing that I can do is hit copy, and I can select a pad to save this on. The other thing I can do is press resample, and now we're in overdub mode. So let's change instruments, and actually let's not overdub yet. Let me rehearse. So let me get out of overdub mode. And let's just play a melody on top. So now overdub. So now that has overdubbed. I can go back into play mode, hit copy, and we can save that sample. This is saving these even 4-bar phrases to the sample pads. I can also undo. So I can click undo and I've taken out that melody from this loop. I can do that again, shift pattern select, which will redo, which reinserts that melody that I just played. Hit record again to stop it from playing, and let's just jump out of the looper for a second by hitting mark, and you can see what we've recorded here. That's just that pure chord progression that we initially recorded. And here should be the chord progression with the melody on top. So similar to that resample technique I showed you earlier, now we have these nice even 4-bar phrases, but let's jump back into the looper, which one thing I think is really cool, even though we exited the looper, the loop we were working with is still there. So if I press record again, it's gonna go through and play it again. Now, while this loop is playing, we can even play with the rate. And if we choose, we can save the loop at this rate. I'm just gonna fine tune this tempo a bit by holding shift and rotating this knob here. Now I'm gonna press copy and let's save that. So we've now changed the play rate and we've saved a version that is slower, and it also carries over the BPM info there as well. Unfortunately, we can't overdub on top of a loop after we've changed the rate, but we can press pitch/speed to return us to 100%. Pressing delete clears our loop, and if we want, we can change the routing now, and we can have some fun with effects. So let's actually do that with the original chord progression. Let's hit record to ready, go. Those effects have been recorded. I can hit copy, save that version of the chords. So this is just a faster, fluid way to keep the ideas going. I can come up with more ideas here. Let's do external in only on this. We've got that melody now. I'm just gonna hit copy, get out of overdub mode, then hit copy. But then I'm gonna hit undo. That takes that melody away. And I'm gonna record a new melody on top here. 1, 2, 3. And there it is, hit copy. So this is just a fast, fluid way, whether you're doing that with drums, whether you're doing that with a melody, whether you're doing that with different chord progressions. With the resampling method I showed you earlier, you're going into resample, you're recording an idea, and you're coming out of the recording process, kind of. You're kind of like committing to that immediately. With the looper, you're not committing immediately. You have time to play with the loop. You can play with the time of the loop. You can add more things on top. You can use undo to take things away. And that's really cool. So like I said, this is just 2 of some of the big features they just dropped in update 4.04. Definitely check out all of the features that came out with this firmware. And also, if you are interested in a new backpack, you need to carry lots of gear to different gigs or wherever you're going, check out the track pack. Link is in the description. Or if you just need a cool new stand for your SP404, Analog Cases has got you covered. And I thank them once again for sponsoring today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.